La Dungeon!
Hello, Dungeon fans. I'm Kevin from Level 9, and tonight on Viva La Dungeon, we are talking about Dungeon World, and we've got a kick-ass Dungeon Crawl Classics adventure called the Emerald Enchanter. How y'all doing tonight? I'm doing great. We're going to start off talking about the difference between games like Dungeon World, which Dungeon World is in Apocalypse. It's powered by Apocalypse. If you remember, I talked about Apocalypse World in the second episode of Viva La Dungeon. I talked about Apocalypse World first because it spawned so many different other games inspired by that system. Dungeon World is the very first one I found. This was my entry point into the system. I backed it on Kickstarter. I got it, blew my fucking mind. It's one of my favorite all-time dungeon-y fantasy role-playing game systems, bar none. That's a personal opinion, of course, and mostly because I realized how much more about the story I am than I am about mechanics in games. And that's where we're going to start with Dungeon World, is talking about, because Dungeon World brings up a really good point about story versus mechanics. Hey, Grouch Couch, and King Fishy is here. That's awesome, dude. I love this new job. So many perks, dude. It's awesome. Okay. So, there's a super famous blog post. If you ever read anything about Dungeon World, someone's always going to point you to this one super famous blog post. It's not by the authors. It's by a player. It's called the 16 Hit Point Dragon. And why it's called that is because in this book, there's a bestiary. Just like it's a full rule book. At the end, there's a big 4 or 5 chapter thing of all these different monsters. And dragon's in there. And the dragon only has 16 hit points. And that blows a lot of people's minds. It's like, well, we're used to having dragons that are like 2,000 hit points. Hey, hola! Hey, collecting bricks. Thanks for joining. So you're used to dragons with a lot more meat to their bones, because with games like Dungeons and Dragons and others, even Dungeon Crawl Classics is kind of like that too. Combat becomes this whole monster has X hit points, can do X things that do X damage, and then you have your party who can do X damage at X amount of times, and then it just becomes a rolling off to see which total goes down. Whereas the story kind of takes a backseat a little bit. I mean, they're still describing stuff and stuff, but in Dungeon World and games like it, they try to put the story, the narrative stuff first. And this is a great example. This blog post, which I'm going to paraphrase, is kind of a really good example of that. So let's talk about a 16 hit point dragon, and why is that scary at all? Like, I mean, it seems like you'd be able to hit it one shot, right? So imagine a group of adventurers. They need to get this spear in order to kill this sorcerer king. And they found out that the spear was last held by a man who tried to kill a dragon and didn't come back. So they go to the dragon's lair to steal back the spear, which they find. Now the magic items in Dungeon World, another little thing, aren't like your +1 to do this kind of variety. No, this spear pierces souls. And that's perfect because they need that to kill the sorcerer king. All right, or you need it. So you manage to steal it without the dragon there. You're heading back to town. You don't know that the dragon's super pissed off and following you, until as you're riding into town, you see town coming up. The shadow goes across the moon, and the wind picks up or shifts. Things get quiet all of a sudden, and then with a crack, this huge shape just drops down in the city hall, and you see the serpentine neck go down, and you could just see in the moonlight it picking up somebody and just ripping them apart, like literally ripping them apart, because the dragon has the messy tag, which means everything he does is going to be messy, and so he rips this person apart. And so you start galloping in. You got to get to town quicker. As you're getting on your horses, getting closer to town, suddenly you hear the inhalation, and then the dragon word, and then boof, and the DM drops a piece of paper on the table and hastily draws a town map, and then takes these red tokens and drops them and says, everywhere this is everything that's on fire. And so as you enter the town, you're entering this hellscape of everything's on fire. There's smoke. There's townspeople running around, screaming, crying, on fire. One lady runs up and, please help my boy. He's still in there. And so maybe one of you goes, okay, well, maybe I'll go into this inn or wherever it is that the boy is, and see if I can help him. But your horses freak out from the fire. I forgot that's the most important part. Is you're riding into town, before you get even to where all the people are burning, your horses freak the fuck out because of the fire just erupting all around them. And so you have to defy danger, which is a basic move of trying not to get yourself hurt from the horses panicking. You manage to get off the horses. Maybe a couple of you take some damage or something. Now you're on foot, and people are screaming for your help. You go to want to help them, and maybe you're about to run in this house to help this boy when the house next to it, or a building next to it, just collapses with a huge boom as the 5 tons of dragon land on top of it. And it breathes in, opens its pipes, its golden eyes burning, its metal hide resonating with a roar, it roars and it's terrifying. It makes everybody scatter, and it makes you have to roll defy danger again because of the terror it's causing you. And they power through it, and they take their shots. The heroes take their first shots, and guess what? The dragon's got 4 armor, which is an armor class. In Dungeon Crawl Classics, it means you do 5 damage, it only takes 1. And they realize that the party realizes, you realize that you need armor penetrating stuff to defeat this dragon. The wizard has those kind of spells, but the dragon knows he does too. And so the fighter takes up defensive stance to protect the wizard, to give him time, but he fails his roll to a degree. And then the dragon strikes, and he doesn't do it's not just 1d10 plus 5 damage. No, he rips off his arm because it's messy, and he shreds the armor like tissue paper. And then he breathes fire, and everybody's got to scatter and to defy danger again, to not get burned. And then the party decide to run for your lives. The dragon laughs and goes back to just destroying the town. That was a dragon with 16 hit points. The party did 9 points of damage before it fled. Think of it in this way: Smog destroyed a whole fucking village, and was burning putting the whole lake to fire, and then was killed by 1 arrow. One guy got lucky and shot him with 1 arrow. And that's the kind of literary kind of fictional kind of shit you want to bring. Once I read that, and I read this book, and I was like, oh man, this is where I want to be when I'm DMing. I want to be able to think all these things and bring it, like the horses going crazy and the people, townsfolk on fire, and you're bringing all that together to kind of build this tension and get everybody afraid and tense. And then it doesn't fucking matter. Then it's like, why would you bring in 25? It's got 3,000 hit points. So what are you gonna do? Like, I'm gonna do 5. I'm gonna do 10, and then it just becomes, where you're holding up the rule book, like working through things. So that's your introduction to Dungeon World. Dungeon World's it's inspired by older school stuff, just kind of like Dungeon Crawl Classics is. Older school but it's much more modern, even more modern than DCC is. You have your basic classes. You got a bard, you got a fighter, wizard, barbarian, ranger, a cleric, and a thief. And just like Apocalypse World, there's not a lot of prep. You're not supposed to prep a lot. You're supposed to come into it. Everybody makes their character. You start as a GM. You start asking them questions about their characters, and then through that, you kind of develop your world. You start making a map, and you can think about it easily. Like, you talk to your ranger, you'd be like, okay, so you have this animal companion, just a tiger. Maybe you have a tiger or a puma or something. It's like, well, what kind of place do you live from? Where do you come from? What is it there? What are the people like there? What's the biggest danger there? Why are you not there now? And then you can ask them questions that are a little bit more like, what are you running from? And then you start asking them shit like that, and before you know it, you've got little stories coming around, and then it's up to the GM to take those and go, okay, let's develop threats and things and start bringing this stuff together and having them go out and face those things or figure out what they really want and need and give them the story to go get that. Let's talk about a bard. Just give you kind of, actually, one thing that I didn't talk about Apocalypse World, when I talked about it, I didn't go into combat a lot. Apocalypse World's got a whole different little flavor to its combat. Dungeon World's a lot more distilled. Actually, I'll say that. Between Apocalypse World and Dungeon World, Apocalypse World's beefy, it feels, when you've come from Dungeon World. Dungeon World's a lot more distilled and tight, I feel. It doesn't feel as... I don't want to say complex, because that's not fair. Apocalypse World's not complex. It's just, there's a little more meat to the bones. But anyway, I didn't talk about combat as much. Whereas Dungeon World's like your dungeon, your adventurer. So combat is like happens a lot. In Apocalypse World, there's a lot of negotiating and talking and fucking and doing all these other things. And combat does happen. But, you know, if you're playing adventurers in a fantasy world, a lot of shit's going to happen. You'll be fighting. Hey, Dustin, how's it going, buddy? Hi, Insurgent. It was a, yes. What was I going to talk about? Oh, yeah, because I was going to talk about the basic moves. If you remember, moves are what drive the Apocalypse, Powered by Apocalypse games. Moves are the things that while we're talking about what your characters are doing, you trigger moves. And once you realize what the moves are, like basic moves are hack and slash. That's whenever you attack an enemy in melee, you do the hack and slash move. Now you don't say I do hack and slash. No, you say, all right, well he's this goblin. I'm gonna run up and smack this goblin. Okay, well that's the hack and slash move. You roll your 2d6, and then you add your strength modifier to it. All right. The system is if you roll 10 or more, you deal your damage to the enemy and you avoid their attack. That's the key part to all Apocalypse World games. I am the GM, I do not roll for monsters. That does not happen. Everything is based off what the players roll and what happens when they roll. I don't know if it's super abstract. It's not that abstract. You'll see. What it does is, it's the right kind of abstraction. All right. I guess you're right. I mean, it isn't drilled down to like you're like moving dudes on a hex. You know what I mean? But let me explain. So combat is, I say what I want to do. I roll these 2 dice. If I get 10 or more, I get whatever the move says. Like, let's say I'm doing hack and slash where I'm hitting somebody in melee. Then I deal my damage to the enemy and I avoid their attack. So as a GM, I would say, you run up and you hit that goblin smack in the head. He feebly tries to attack, but he just misses all air because he's reeling from your blow. Now, if I rolled a 7 or 9, then I deal my damage, but the enemy makes an attack against me. So I would go up and I'd hit, but the goblin dodged just enough to where I hit him, but I didn't take him out, and he was able to stab me with his knife, and I would take damage. If I miss this roll, if I completely, which is 6 or less, then the GM does what's called a hard move. Doesn't mean, most often in combat, it means I'm going to take damage. Like I run up, but the goblin nimbly jumps out of the way of my hammer and just stabs me in the gut or something. Could do that. I could choose to have you swing and you totally lose your grip on your weapon, and it goes. It all depends on how the GM wants the story, the thematic kind of fight to go. I could. Those are called hard moves, where I make you lose your weapon, or I make you take damage, or something important happens right then. Then there's volley, the other basic move, which is for ranged attacks. There's defy danger, which is key because I brought that up a couple times in the encounter with the dragon. Defy danger is whenever you need to act in the face of threat, or something else is happening. You say what attribute you want to use, like. You want to power through it with strength. You want to get out of the way or get out, act fast with your dexterity. You would just endure it with your constitution. You roll these and you'd add whichever modifier you're saying. 10 plus, you do what you set out to do. The threat doesn't come to bear. On a 7 to 9, you stumble, hesitate, or flinch. The GM will offer you a worse outcome, a hard bargain, or an ugly choice. And then 6 or less is you just fucked up. Other basic moves are defend, spout lore, which gets us out of combat into like spout lore is when you're like it's a knowledge check, right? It's a knowledge check. You roll 10, the GM will tell you something interesting and useful about what you're asking about. On a 7 to 9, the GM will only tell you something interesting. It's on you to make it useful. And then a GM might ask you, how do you know this? And you tell them how you know that, because there's a little bit of back and play between the players and the GM when it comes to creating the story. There's discern realities, parlay, for manipulating and talking to people. Discern realities is your perception check. And then you can aid and interfere. And those are kind of like the basic things you do. That's things that anybody can do. But just to give a flavor for for how characters go. Like let's say it's a bard. You want to. They give you Dungeon World gives you names to choose. Oh, perfect. Gives you a look to choose one. Choose one for each. Knowing eyes, fiery eyes, joyous eyes. Fancy hair, wild hair, or stylish cap. Right away, the system gives you some really basic ways to make a character that is yours, but is defined a little bit better than just having a sheet that you fill out numbers and your stats. You choose your race. And this is where it starts getting kind of interesting. So if you choose elf, when you enter an important location, this is a bard. We're rolling a bard. If you choose an elven bard, when you enter an important location, you can ask the GM for one fact from the history of that location, just because of you're an elf and you know things about the world. Or if you're a human, when you first enter a civilized settlement, someone who respects the custom of hospitality will take you in as their guest. So that's just by being human and walking in. The GM will have someone who will introduce themselves in some way, shape, or natural way to take them in as a guest, take you in. And then you start with arcane art. When you weave a performance into a basic spell, choose an ally and an effect. Basically, instead of saying, okay, you got a healing spell, you've got a buff spell, you've got a whatever, you have this one move. Weave a performance into a basic spell. I'm going to sing a little song. It's going to be a softer one. I'm going to do it. I'm going to hardly say, people are hardly going to hear it. I'm just going to hit a few notes. And I'm going to choose heal 1d8 damage. Or I'm going to choose the mind is shaking clear of 1 enchantment. Then I roll plus my charisma. So my charisma might be +2, +3, +1. On a 10+, the ally gets the selected effect. It worked. On a 7 and 9, the spell works, but you draw unwanted attention or your magic reverberates to other targets, affecting them as well. So let's say you're in town and you want to, you're about to start a fight, and you do a little song to get to buff a friend, the fighter, up to give plus 1d4 forward to damage. You roll 7 and 9. I, as a GM, might decide that you look over and the other guy who's like starting the fight is like tapping his heels, or he's very interested in the song, and he gets the 1d4 as well. And then, if you fail, you fail. And I could choose what happens to that. I could make it, well, everybody gets buffed. Everybody on the other side gets buffed. Or it just doesn't work. The other move you get as a beginning bard is you choose an area of expertise. Spells and magic, the dead and the undead. When you first encounter an important creature, location, or item covered by your bardic lore, you can ask the GM any question about it. The GM will answer truthfully, usually coming up with shit on the spot. The GM may then ask you what tale, song, or legend you heard that information in. You see, that's a key little part too that we're not used to getting in a lot of regular games, traditional role-playing games. The GM may then ask you what tale, song, or legend you heard that information in, putting it back on you to make up some shit that becomes canon in your story. You get a couple other things. Being charming and open, gives the bard abilities to ask certain questions of people. And a port in the storm is when if you return to a civilized settlement you've visited before, tell the GM when you were last here. They'll tell you how it's changed since then. Let me get into alignment. Alignment's fun because getting experience is tied to alignment. There's a couple of different ways you can get experience. Alignment's one of them. If you choose to be good, neutral, or chaotic, it gives you a little objective. So good. Perform your art to aid someone else. Whenever you perform your art to aid somebody, at the end of the adventure, if you had done perform your art to aid someone else, you will get an experience point. Neutral is avoid a conflict or diffuse a tense situation. If you're neutral, that's kind of your goal. If you achieve that once per, you can't keep doing it to get experience points. It's like at the end of the adventure or the end of the session, the GM can decide if you did that, you get an experience point. You don't need tons and tons of experience points in this game. It's like 10 for each level. Exactly. Everything's got a little risk. What's great about the system between the 3 different choices is there's only one true fail, and that's rolling 6 or less. The 7 or 9 just creates interesting things. It's not always bad. It doesn't have to always be bad. It's there to make the drive the story in ways you don't expect, and you don't expect, or the GM doesn't expect. And then the 10 plus is absolute success. Chaotic. Spur others to significant and unplanned decisive action. This is what I love about. Okay, this is one part of this fucking game that I love, is it makes alignment useful to me. Alignment is useful from a role-playing sense. If you, a lot of times though, we want to play alignments as absolutes. Like if you're lawful good, then you're super goody two shoes. You're like that super goody two shoes paladin shit. If you're chaotic evil, well, we know what chaotic evil is. I always tend to go neutral just because I don't want to be locked into some fucking, this is the way I'm expected to play. And I've played with groups that expect a certain, when you say you're this alignment, they expect you to act this way, and that's boring to me. But this game actually makes alignment useful. It gives me something to do with it. If I want to be chaotic, it doesn't mean I gotta fuck everybody over. It means I can spur others to significant and unplanned decisive action. I can talk somebody into doing something good or stupid or whatever that is totally not planned, that they were not expecting to do. And if I can get that, I get an experience point for doing it. When they give you gear to choose that's more thematic than just rolling on a table or getting your basic shit. Like you can choose one instrument: your father's mandolin, repaired; a fine flute, a gift from a noble, which has got story all over, right? I'm choosing the fine lute, a gift from a noble. Well, that's my job as a GM. I go, well, who is a noble, and why did he give you the gift? What did you do for him? Ask him those questions, and you start filling in his backstory right then, and then I might be able to use that. A fiddle, never before played. A songbook in a forgotten tongue. Okay, well, where did that come from? And then we come to the one of my second most favorite parts of these with when it comes to characters is bonds. We hit on it a little bit in Apocalypse World because that's where this all came from. He uses a stat called History, HX. Dungeon World gets a little more specific in the application of bonds. Bonds are, you fill in the name, you get this list for a bard, and you fill in the name of one of your companions in at least one of these. So you say, okay, this is not my first adventure with blank, or I sang stories of blank long before I ever met them in person. I am writing a ballad about the adventures of somebody, or blank trusted me with a secret. And as you play the games, if you can resolve what's called resolve the bond with them, where you do something either based on the bond, or maybe if someone doesn't trust me and for a good reason, I get them to trust me, or I do something, I get experience points for resolving these bonds with this person, or at least playing off them. And then, of course, you can level up. Leveling up is pretty... you have all these advanced moves that you pick from when you go to... when you level up. Let's see, just an example. It goes to 11. When you unleash a crazed performance, choose a target who can hear you and roll Charisma. On 10 plus, the target attacks their nearest ally in range. On a 7 to 9, they attack their nearest ally, but you also draw their attention and ire. So you could get, basically this is for getting someone to rage out and attack their friends, but you have the chance of having them attack you as well. Let's see some high level shit. What's some high level? Devious. When you use charming and open, you may also ask how... Duelist block. When you hack and slash, you take +2 armor. Okay. When you parlay with someone on stuff. Oh, by the way, so you only level up to like 10. Once you get to 10, you retire. So that this game doesn't have... You do campaign, but it ain't about getting to 20th level and shit like that. Like some of this stuff, a Vicious Blast. When you grant bonus damage with Arcane Art, you grant an extra +2d4 damage. So the bards are a little more trickier, whereas when you get into the high level spells of like druids and wizards, shit gets pretty crazy. Plague. Name a city, town, encampment, or other place where people live. As long as this spell is active, that place is beset by a plague appropriate to your deity's domains. Locust, Death of Fire, that's a cleric. That's a 9th level cleric spell. Is that one I wanted to... That. So that's a taste of Dungeon World. The games tend to be a lot more... You want to play with a group of people who have their own ideas and their own, want to add their own ideas and have their own are imaginative, creative, in order to get the most out of it. Because then you're all talking about what's going on and how everybody's doing. Everybody's getting good ideas, and you're going, okay, well, that's something we need to roll on, and let's roll, and everybody's working together on this. Just basic, all the kind of games I've been covering for the last 5 episodes. I'll give you a taste. That's all we're going to go, because I want to move to the next bit. I have an idea, guys. I'm excited to get to it, so I'm going to move on. That's Dungeon World. It's one of my favorites. If you have any questions about Dungeon World, we want to talk about it, I made a new channel in my Discord for Viva La Dungeon, which is all about going in and talking about the games and stuff that I talk about in this show. So ask away if you want. Hey, Spooky. What up? Let's do a quick little segment on the Star Jumpers. I haven't done a lot on Star Jumpers because I've been a little busy. Very busy, to be exact. I need to find out. I got an idea, though. Oh, shit. The red dot's coming up. I hope that doesn't last long. Sorry guys, I look like I got a little lag, but it looks like it's gone now. So I've been a little busy, haven't done a whole lot in Star Jumpers. I need to finish up the mission to get up. I want to write an email. I want to get an email out soon, just on the email list, just to keep people engaged. And the third thing is I'm thinking about trying to find hospitals around here and other places where I can go and I could play this with kids who might cheer them up, and I would be able to cheer them up, but also get a little play testing done. So I'm thinking about that kind of stuff. One thing I did want to talk about though, for Star Jumpers, because I do want to talk a little bit. Last week we talked about the players developing their own galaxy, and the agency that the players get, and the discovery reports where you every time they meet a new alien or a new planet, they fill out a discovery report. It's kind of like a Mad Libs. This week, well, drinking in Dungeon World would be fine. That'd be fine. I'd love it. That'd be fun to try. I just want to talk a little bit about the of course I don't have the camera up on this. Oh, I can. Hold on. I can. Or can't. Interesting. We'll flip back over this. There are 2 types of skills. There's mind skills, and there are level 2. Mind skills and physical skills. Body. There's 2 major stats in Star Jumpers: body and mind. Every skill is plays off of either body or mind. Skills being things like tough, or knowledge, or animal friend, or martial arts, acrobatics, computers, or engineering. And then each one has, these are the upgrade boxes that you check off every time you choose to fail with it. And then your upgrade is engineering. You build and fix machines. Right, kids in the system is that's a great idea. Engineering, you build and fix machines. The next upgrade is create a bodysuit. What I wanted to do when I designed the upgrades is I want it to be something that we want, just another little cherry on top of failing. You check off the box. It's something that you want to try to get and check out. Like acting, the upgrade is a dramatic entrance. Acting is you entertain people. Tough is you gain Mega Punch. Or acrobatics, his next upgrade is superhuman. So the skills are a skill pool. There's 9 body and 9 mind, and that's the pool. And the first level ones all go in the middle of the table when you're creating characters at the beginning of every session. The players pick, depending on their well, we'll say they're all humans for now. they could choose one body and one mind. They all choose it. Now, the next time they play, like I've talked before, is they can choose to create a new character or change out skills. And what they would do is let's say on one game they use acrobatics and they checked off 2 boxes and they failed twice. They can put that back into the pool and draw a new one that's in the pool, like martial arts, which already has 5. This goes back in the pool already upgraded. So after a while, after many sessions, you start having, hey Joker, you start having this pool of skills that are all that are closer leveled up or leveled up. I could choose to take a level 2 skill, and the level 1 upgrade I got, I can put them back in the pool, and somebody else can take them and use them and have fun with them. If I had the driving skill, and the first level upgrade for driving is to get your own vehicle, I might have a motorcycle. And the next session, I decide I want to try out a new character. I put driving back along with the vehicle upgrade. Then the next person can go, oh, I want driving, and I'm going to take, it's not going to be a motorcycle, it's going to be a small car. And they get to enjoy driving, and they'll have the second level driving skill, and they'll be able to, start trying to upgrade that as well. There's 4 levels of upgrades. I like the thought of the shared skill pool that doesn't mean you have to start over every time, because remember, I wanted to building new characters into the game in a nice natural way. Doesn't make you feel like you're starting over every time, and this was a really easy way to do that. So anyway, that's skills. I like diplomacy too. It's amazing to me, by the way, it's fun. One of my most picked skills is knowledge. And this is playing with 6 to 12-year-olds. Knowledge is picked a lot. Sometimes tough, but knowledge is picked a lot. Animal friend can come up a lot. Computers comes up a lot, which is pretty cool. Nobody picks medical. Not yet. Nobody's picked medical yet. Last War Poodle. All right. That's our little bit on Star Jumpers. I don't have enough to report on things that I've done because I've been super busy, but I will be fixing that this week. I'm glad you all are here because I have an idea. And I'm going to share that idea with you just after the Lich gives his newscast. So I will be right back.
Hello, monsters. I'm the Lich, and it's time for Dungeon News. It's a sad day, monsters. Gormoth, the giant of giants, the massive one, the harbinger of dinner, is leaving us. Gormoth has decided to travel the world and maybe start his own dungeon on top of a mountain, he says. Or in the clouds, he says that would be cool. That would be cool. Well, he's not a cloud giant, I'm not telling him that. I'm having a hard time imagining a dungeon without him, folks, I gotta be completely honest. Remember that time he farted and we had to evacuate level 6? That was magical. Oh, remember that time he fought those 2 T-Rexes and... Wait. That might have been King Kong. It doesn't matter. He would have totally fought 2 T-Rexes and won. Oh, Gormoth. The good news is he's going to stick around to do his tea party concept for the April photo shoot for our 2020 dungeon calendar. One word. Collectible. Alright, so his going away party is going to be off the hook themed. Right? More details to come. But expect a giant hangover. Whatever. Alright, that's it for news, folks. Viva La Dungeon.
Alright, thank you, Lich. I got an idea. I got an hour, alright? I don't want to go past 11:30, right? I want to end. This show's about an hour and a half. So just for an hour. Now, what I've been doing is the next adventure I was going to talk about for Dungeon Crawl Classics is the Emerald Enchanter. All right, I have 4 characters. Thrum, by the way, leveled up and decided he doesn't want to be called Sek anymore because he has never liked that. He wants to be referred to as Thrum. Fine. But we have the 4 characters, Throm, Barney, Illerin, and Kaelin. You've kind of been with them for the last 3 or 4 adventures. Who'd like to jump into Discard and play these guys for the next hour? And we'll just start this. And maybe this section of Viva La Dungeon is anybody who wants to come in and rotate out playing one of these characters, and we just start going through this adventure. Hop in Discord and then go into, let's see. Oh, I gotta make you a monster. 1 second. Fishy, fishy, fish. Fish, where are you, fish? Warpoodle. Kingfishy. Pimps. Pimps? Oh, Pimps you wanted... Oh, look at Pimps here. Holy crap. Alright, go into Game Room Voice and Game Room Text. I got it all set up for this, in case anybody wanted to do it. Let me do it. Let's, turn this down. Turn this down. Actually, let's turn that off. Turn this up. We should hear you guys. Okay. You need permission, Fishy. You should have permission. You are playing monster. Permission to get into Game Room Voice. Hold on. Edit channel. Permissions. Playing monster. You should be able to get in there, Fish, or are we talking about... Warpoodle's in. Playing monster. Everybody's... There you go, King. King Fishy. Spooky, yeah, you can come on in. I just need, we got one other person. Pimps, are you going to come in? You can play if you want. It's only for the next hour, because then we're going to go watch you guys play some music. Or make some music. Okay, here. Warpoodle. Who would you like to be? I'll DM you guys the character sheets. It's a tiny bit more involved than... But don't worry. We're going to take it nice and sleazy. We're going to take it sleazy. You guys can come in the voice channel, by the way. Can you get in there, or is it telling you no? Hello? Hello? You can't get in the voice channel? Alright, hold on. Hold on. Okay. Try it now, King. Try now, Fishy. How about you, Warpoodle? You know what? Screw it. I'll just take the permissions off. Scranchy Peepers. All right. Hello, Six. Hey, we're about to play. Yeah, come on in the game. Hey, Warpoodle. Fishy, come into game 1. I just made a new one.
Hey there.
Hey there, buddy. Hey, Warpoodle, which one you want to play?
I don't care. Let the other ones pick. I'll pick whoever. I'll play whoever no one wants to be.
All right.
I
Hey,
don't
Fish.
know what the...
We got a dwarf, we got a thief, we got an elf, and we got a cleric.
I want to be the fucking cleric. I want to heal some shit.
All right, buddy. Well, here, what's cool about a cleric in Dungeon Crawl Classics is healing isn't a spell. You can do it anytime. You just, yeah. Let me, hold on. There we go. All right, I'm going to DM you. And then we need 2 more people.
No.
Too many people who want to play Dungeon Crawl Classics for the next hour. All right. There, it's coming. There you go, Fishy. Check that out. Look at that for a minute.
1 moment.
Hey, you're all right, Spooky. All right, you got the elf, Spooky. Then I'm gonna give. Wait. Oh, I'm gonna wait. All right, we need 1 more. Pimps, are you actually gonna play?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Barely.
Okay, my computer. I don't need my headset apparently. That's sweet. Okay.
All right, we need 1 more. Pimp. All right, I'm gonna give you the Spooky.
Jesus.
Okay, Spooky, you can roll dice if you go into the game room. Oh wait, did I hold on. I didn't. I gotta make you. I gotta give you permission to go in there. Here we go. All right, you should be able to go into game room text.
What? I have a mace.
You do.
And lay on hand.
Okay, Spook. I'm gonna give you a character sheet. Jeez, where's all my shit going? I'm gonna give you the character sheet for the elf, Illerin. You got some spells.
Ooh.
There you go. Check that out. It's a DM. I DM'd it. And so Pimps dropped out. He's a tease. Not super not surprising, dude. Super not surprising. What about Turkey? What's Turkey doing?
Probably setting everything up for the other stream.
Oh. Boo. We're gonna dump into him. How about you guys? How about you 6 monsters that came in here? Who else we got here? Joker, Insurgent. Anybody want to jump in? We need 1 more player. Well, we don't need, but 1 more player would be awesome. Okay, I'm gonna give you Warpoodle. You're getting Throm. And here comes the character sheet. Insurgent, come on in. Are you in the Discord? Yeah, I'm in Discord. Do you need?
Gotta be.
Right on, Scrunchy Peepers. Oh, who's that? Okay. You're good. Oh, is that Johan? Is that Insurgent? Is Johan?
Right here.
Johan is Insurgent. Is that you? Are we connecting the dots? Oh, I'm Johan. Okay. All right, cool, man. All right, you... Let me move. There, now you should have access to game room text. Okay, Spook, you roll dice by typing like this. All you need to know is you exclamation point roll, and then we'll tell you what you need to roll, like 1d6.
Okay, so just you tell me what to do and I'll...
That's basically it. So are you guys of like 3 weeks ago? You guys, well, yeah, about 3 weeks ago, you had first met each other being summoned by this court of chaos, these chaos lords out in the cosmos who wanted you to go, you little scrubs, little first level characters, to go steal something from the plane of law. And you did it because you had no other fucking choice. The wizard who was with you, who happened to have been your, not so much your friend, Illerin, that's the elf, but your companion was kind of an evil dude who was made a deal with one of the Chaos Lords to get this object for him instead of for the good of the party, and he ended up leaving you guys on the plane of law, and you had to face the court and the scions of law, and they gave you, instead of just disintegrating you and killing you, they gave you a task to defeat this great evil chaos that had awoken on your own plane. So they sent you to part of the world that you'd never been to before. You ended up having to go down in this deep ass pit to defeat this cult of pit people, and in the end, Illyrin, who everybody else didn't really trust a lot because of the company she kept, and almost sacrificing herself completely by spell burning herself to the point like cutting herself and disfiguring her face in order to take control of all these gigantic tentacles in this pit and kill the big bad guys and cause the whole pit to collapse on itself. So you survived, and you were carried back out by Kaelin, the cleric, and you won over the trust of your team. And so we're going to start now. You guys are kind of a nice little team. You've been through some shit, and you've kind of got each other's backs. Now, it took like 3 weeks for you to heal, Illyrin, and because you guys saved the daughter of the blacksmith, he took you in and really took care of, made sure you were taken care of in this village that was near the pit that I'm talking about. When you got good enough and kind of healed up, you guys decide to leave because you're going to try to go find your homes. You don't know where you are in the fucking world. You could be anywhere. You could be on a different fucking planet. You don't know. So you're going off wandering the world. And a few weeks later, you find yourself in a new village. A village where there's a citadel that overlooks it. And they're having their own problems. Same story, different village. People disappearing. Friends and family. They need help, and that's kind of what you do now. Like, you have powers. You've leveled up you're level 2 now. You guys, you can cast spells and fight monsters, and that's kind of your thing. And you need some money, so you decide, we'll help you. Maybe it's not just for the money. You're lawful. Most of you are lawful, other than Barney, who is who's Barney? Johan. I got to give you Barney. Sorry, bud. Here we go. 1 second. Warpoodle, I gave you the dwarf, right? You got the dwarf? Okay.
I like dwarves. Oh, right. What a swing.
Barney is he's a very good friend of Throm, the dwarf. He's a thief, and he's not very smart at all. He's got a 5 intelligence. That's kind of like his key thing. He's not a smart one, but he's good at being a thief. No, this is a different module, Podgods, but you literally just got here 2 seconds after we filled the last spot. But I think I'm going to do this every Tuesday. I think depending on how this goes. So you guys decide. The rumors are the Citadel was quiet for many, many years, and the rumor is that there was this green wizard who lives up there and keeps to himself, and everybody thought he died off or something. But lately, people have been disappearing, and they think it's because of this place. So they asking you to go check in on it. And this is called the Emerald Enchanter. We're gonna start out. We're probably not gonna get very far because I'm only want to play till like 11:30. But next week we'll continue on where we leave off, and different people can play different parts of the characters. You guys are level 2, spooky. You're just going to tell me what you want to do. That's what basically everybody's going to do. And then we'll figure out the rules and all that kind of shit later. There's not really rules. You just tell me what your character wants to try to accomplish. So you're making your way up the long road that leads above the village, up this cliff top to this massive citadel that sits up there. Abandoned, dark. This silent monolith has sat undisturbed atop a windy ridge for centuries. Legends say that a green-skinned sorcerer dwells there, where he conducts strange experiments and builds enigmatic machinery. His emerald constructs patrol the grounds of his citadel, and he is only seen rarely when he ventures out on nefarious errands that end in horrid screams and strange lights from his citadel. Now you believe he's holding these villagers captive. So we're walking up. The citadel sits atop this barren cliff, jutting from a black rock like some wart on the landscape. It's a short, flat-topped thing with a wide base and small, squat second story. The surrounding land is empty and lifeless for miles up there. Approaching from a distance, you observe a large door of some silvery metal. Beside the door are 2 green statues depicting men clad in emerald armor and holding translucent emerald swords. As you guys get a little closer, actually, would you like to do anything before you actually get up at the door of this place?
I do, but I'm having a hard time finding the actual. What does blessings do?
So blessing is a buff. So you can cast blessing, and you can cast it on yourself. You can cast it on a buddy to buff you for whatever's for if something's about to happen.
So I have animal summoning. Can I summon an animal to go check out the house for us before we get too close to it?
Sure can. You
Okay,
sure
so
could.
Let's summon like a crow and have it fly up and inspect things for us.
Okay, so what we're gonna do? You gotta do a spell check, but first thing you're gonna do, well, yeah, let's do this spell check first. So roll 1d20, and then put plus, and I think your modifier is +2. Yeah, it's 2. So 1d20 plus 2. Awesome. That's terrible.
Yeah, that's fucking terrible, Jesus.
So, in D&D, you have spell slots. In D&D, you once you cast a spell, and then typically that spell slot, you spent that spell slot, and then you only get so many. In Dungeon Crawl Classics, you don't have spell slots, but if you fail, you might lose that spell for the day. And that's exactly what. But I don't think you lose it. You just no, it's lost. It's lost. So good try.
The fucking first spell, Spooky. What the fuck?
I didn't have a dice to fly off the table this time.
Jesus Christ. Alright, I'm gonna cast blessing in the name of Jessica and the Holy Spirit upon the door, or whatever that does.
Okay, so you are going to cast. You're going to roll as well. It's going to be 1d20, and I think you're a plus.
Yeah, +2.
+2.
Dude, your roll table's whack. Something's wrong.
I'm gonna agree with them.
Yeah, that was pretty terrible too. Luckily, you didn't roll a 1. You don't lose the spell. You just you screwed up. You can try again though. That's the thing.
I don't think I want to. I think it'll be fine. I guess my deity is just not with me right now. She's like, no, this town's fucked up. All right. Well, I'm ready to go in if you guys are.
All right. All right, we're heading up there. I'm going to assume.
Let's get a closer look.
All right. Thorn is a little bit of the leader. Throm, I mean. Typically, you guys, it's Throm, Barney, Ilrin, and Kaelin in a marching order. As you start moving up, these statues, you start getting a little excited, especially you, Throm, because you were suspecting it at first, but you have a nose for gems and gold, and this is emerald. Like, these statues are emerald. So maybe this even though you're lawful, like, could be a big payday for you guys. And as you get closer, though, suddenly the statues burst into life. They lower their spears. They come charging at you. Obviously, they were guarding, but you didn't expect them to come alive. And the shit's in your face now. So we need to roll initiative. You guys go ahead. Everybody roll a d20.
Watch all of us get a 5.
Yeah, right?
Something's whack if that happens. Oh my god, my rolls are terrible.
I agree with you. Mine here, same here.
3.
Damn.
Spook is
Am I
3.
going first?
Poodle is 4. All right, I gotta roll.
Table's whack.
Your roll table's whack.
Johan. Oh wow, Johan's 3, and wait, Fishy, you're
17.
Oh shit, yeah, okay, cool.
For once, he got a good
I
roll.
know.
All right, let's see what
I
I
know,
got.
it's fucking crazy. It's because I'm not using dice, that's why.
Look at that. I rolled a 1. Can we see that? That one? Yeah. I rolled a 1 plus 2. They've got a 3 as well. So I think that's just kind of like how shit's happening right now. As they get closer, as they come charging up at you, you see that one looks is like very well like it's like one's like a statue of someone who just it looks like somebody who made something that looks like a human, and then the other one looks like a human that was turned into emerald. Like there's an obvious difference. One was a carving, and one is a rough carving, and one looks like a person who is emerald. As they come racing up at you with their with their spears. So Fishy, Kalen, what do you do? It's on you, bud.
Okay. I think I'm gonna use a word of command. I'm like reading it right now to make sure I'll be able to do this.
Word of command 260. All right. Well, keep here. The right bound to bay. Yeah. Yeah. You can do it. You could tell them. You can. You say one single word, and it could be like go, attack, retreat, speak.
Speak, swim, grovel, silence, and so on. Yeah.
You got the book?
All right. No, I got fucking a computer, man.
Okay.
I got the world's book. All right.
I got Alexandria, buddy.
I want to say retreat.
Retreat. Okay. Roll it. Same thing. D20 plus 2.
Whack ass. Roll tape.
Nice.
Now, yes. Now roll me a D4, will you? It's one of my favorite parts of casting spells in Dungeon Crawl Classics.
It depends on the intensity of it.
No, it's the manifestation. It's more of a...
Oh, sick.
So you guys, you brace yourselves, and suddenly Kalen strides up, and he puts out his hands wide to the air. He goes, retreat! And the word retreat appears in the sky above him in fiery letters. Retreat! And you rolled a fucking 18. So, consulting the chart, the cleric can speak a word at a target within 30 feet. Yep. He may combine the word of command with a gesture that clarifies its intent. So maybe you say retreat, and you brought your hand down, one of the hands down, and pointed behind them, right? And if the creature fails its save, it must obey the command for a number of rounds. So it's got to make a spell save. So let's see what they're... 14 plus... Oh, wait. It's always whatever you rolled. 14 plus 3. So 17. He just barely did it. You just barely did it. See, the one that looks like a person, more like a person, kind of stops and then turns and runs back. Runs back and hides behind, runs around the corner, a corner. Disappears into the shadowy dark. Let's see, that's how many turns is this? Number of rounds. Okay, this is rounds. Now rounds are not turns. 2 plus your caster level's 4. So this guy's gonna stay out of here for about 40 seconds, about 4 rounds. So each of you will be able to take. Everybody's gonna be able to take a turn before he comes back.
Woot, TT.
What up? What? Whoop whoop. Party of 13. Dustin, we're changing the format of Viva La Dungeon for a little bit. 4 people are taking over our characters. We are playing the Emerald Enchanter. We just began. these are second level characters. Fishy, playing Kalen or Cleric, has just cast Word of Power, caused one of these Emerald Eidolons to run backwards. The other one's still charging forward, however. And it is Throm's turn. The dwarf, what are you doing?
Oh, a fine spell has been tossed out. I'm going to toss myself out with me hammer in my hand and bring something.
All right. So the way it works for dwarves and warriors, you get to roll. So you're gonna take a swing at the one that's still running at you guys, right? You step forward and bash this fucker. Maybe you can make it explode. So you roll a d20 and you get to roll.
Oh, I just did and got a 20. Natty.
Oh shit. Shit. You got a natty 20. Okay, that's a crit, bud. That's crit. You.
Oh, how's that first been?
I like it. On your character sheet, it should tell you what your crit die is and what crit table you're on.
Okay, 1 second.
When you crit, you get to roll additional on the crit table in Dungeon Crawl Classics. Crit tables.
Crit table is 111.
Crit table 3, okay. And I think it's a D12. I think your crit number is a D12. Hey, Air Laser. Hey, Jeff.
It is.
Okay. So roll yourself a D12. Let's see what you do to this bad boy. Just roll the D12. That's all you got to do. There we go. 10. Sunder foe's weapon. Shards of metal fill the air. So this thing's racing forward with its spear. It raises its spear up as you come charging forward with your warhammer. And as you swing, he tries to parry with his spear. And you just smash it as the warhammer continues through and smashes into his face. Roll your damage.
Okay. It's +1.
Warhammer. Yep.
And 1d4 and 1d8.
Yeah, so you get to roll
+1 overall or +1
Yeah, so you rolled a crit, so I didn't have you roll. The 1d4 is your warriors and dwarves get their attack die, and for when you attack, and for when you try to hit, and for your damage, you get to roll a 1d4 and add it to it. So you're 1d4 plus 1d8 plus, I think, 2, right? That's how much damage you're going to do. Hey, Levi. Does it sound like we have voice modifiers? Not intentional. 1d4 plus 2.
Dungeon.
All right, roll. You also roll a 1d8. Viva La Dungeon. Thank you, Leviathan. Thanks for joining. 8 plus 5 is 13. So your warhammer smashes into this guy's face, and it explodes. In a big fierce storm of emerald rocks, just goes, and it all kind of. At first, you can't see anything because there's so many little shards, and then it all falls to the ground, and it's silent. That was 1 round. There's 3 more to go.
Looks like a grievous wound.
Yeah, no, you killed him. He's dead. He exploded in a 1,000 emerald fragments. But here's where you are. You're standing in front of the door, and the door to the citadel itself. 1 smashed eidolon, and 1 guy who ran away. For now, what do you guys want to do?
Anybody got a game plan?
We must finish the other one off, but he's running.
I'm gonna say if they want to go inside and look around, I can stand guard with my short bow and just keep an eye out for it when it comes back.
Oh, your short bow versus a statue.
I mean,
we could just go. He's gonna be there for like another 30 seconds. We can just bounce.
or we
can just go out there and fucking jump his ass too. We could do
I
that.
like the idea of dumping him.
Meet him halfway.
Fuck that guy.
Let's deal with him now before it becomes a problem later.
Yeah. Alright. Can we we just like casually wait until he comes strolling back in, and then just like fucking sneak attack jump his ass?
Yeah. Yeah, you could do that. The thief, by the way, Barney's pretty good at sneaking the shadows. And you get you do more damage if you can backstab. You do like double damage for backstabbing. Just so you know, Barney.
So you could just like Barney hide up against the wall, and then we'll just kind of like lure him in, being like, "Come on, your mother was a hamster, and your father smells like elderberries."
Yep.
Turn that emerald minion into an emerald pile once we're done with it.
Right. So you guys want to just spread out and hide for when this guy comes back? The second statue?
I mean, I'm just gonna stand and like kind of like back away from the door so he can like come in, so like he can backstab.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna like just hide until he pops up.
We're gonna lure him into a little trap.
Okay. So, not even a minute later, you hear a thump, 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 and he comes running back around this statue with his spirit ready. He sees you, Fishy. Illerant? No. Kalen. He sees you, Kalen. He comes right for you. I'm going to let Johan or Barney take the first hit if you want for surprise. Actually, you know what, Barney? Would be fair to the game. Roll a d20 for me. And then add your sneak. Or hide in... I think you have a hide in shadows, actually. Yeah, hide in shadows. It's a +3. Go ahead, roll that. Good enough. So he doesn't notice you as he comes barreling towards the person who made him retreat, or it retreat. So go for it. I'll let you roll to attack to hit him. You get a plus. You get a +1 for backstab. You're neutral. If you're a chaotic thief, you get +5. So roll another d20.
I'm attacking with my short sword.
Okay.
It has +1 plus 1d6, so
that's just for the
1d6
damage.
plus 1.
That's for the damage.
So that's just a regular 1d6 plus 1.
Yeah, for the damage. But roll to hit first.
Roll the hit. That's the
d20.
1d.
Yep.
Okay.
1d20 plus, I think, +1 for you, or +2. That's not a good enough roll, though. He rolled a 12. I gotta get. I'm gonna figure out how. I think I can get a chat room up so I can show you guys' rolls in the stream next time. All right, so 12 isn't gonna do it. So everything works as according to plan. You see Barney come out of the shadows, and he goes to hit with his what do you got, a dagger? Or a short sword. Short sword. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, the short sword glances off the emerald back of this guy. Shing! You can hear it, and it doesn't stop him from charging in. He's gonna attack you, Kalen. We're gonna roll for him. What's your armor class, Kalen? Fishy?
12.
He swings. Whatever Barney did threw him off a little bit because he swings, or he stabs with his spear, but you're able to get out of the way. And it just goes harmlessly past you. And so we'll go to the back of the top of the list. It's you.
Back at me?
Yep.
Okay.
Or give Spooky a chance. Here, Spooky, you get a chance. I'll give you. Illerin, what are you going to do?
Can I just magic missile this asshole and be done with it?
Yes.
Oh god, I am standing right next to it. This is how people die.
You could die somewhere.
Here's another. I love casting spells and fucking. Okay. Yeah. So you're gonna roll your 1d20 and add 2. Ooh, there we go. So every time a spellcaster, a wizards learn a spell, How that spell materializes or the things that happen is different per spellcaster. For you, whenever she casts magic missile, when she goes to speak the words, suddenly her voice is taken over by this demonic voice that just rips out through her mouth, that she doesn't know where it comes from. No one, it doesn't sound like it's very demonic, like very deep. And whatever words you say, comes, and that's every time you cast magic missile. Now also roll me D10, please.
Spooky, teach me how to do that.
9. This when you speak in that demonic voice, and this dagger, force-looking dagger, just a glowing bluish air just comes shooting out of your hands, striking him. And there's actually roll 1d4, another 1d4, please, because like that many of these come ripping out of your hand.
That one's a sad word.
All right, and then are we only okay? And now give me one more 1d4.
Sorry, I turned my phone off.
That's okay. I couldn't hear it. One more 1d4. Oh, your turn. Duh, 4. 4.
Nice.
So that plus your 4 plus your caster level is 6 points of damage. So it's blasting into this guy. So he tries to stab Kaelin. Kaelin moves out of the way just in time. He rears back, brings the spear back. You hit him and kind of knock him like this, and he stumbles back. But he hasn't exploded in an emerald yet. Kaelin, now it is your turn.
Alright, I'm just gonna make this easy and hit him with my mace.
Smash a lacking.
Yep. Oh, that's what I did wrong. Damn it.
It's okay, Turk. I'm thinking about doing this every week.
Oh. It's rough. That's an 8.
That does not hit.
It's not table again.
Your mace glances off of his emerald. It doesn't crack it. Not even a crack. You just go thung, and then he turns and looks at you. And it is Throm's turn. That's good, Turk. That you got it fixed.
Time for some more braining with the Warhammer.
Do it. Put him down! Ooh, that's not a put down.
Ow. Yes. Oh, Jesus Christ.
That was almost a fumble. Oh, you know what? This guy doesn't even have... Oh, no, this guy does have a spear. You smashed the other guy's spear. Yeah, that's almost a fumble. Lucky for you, it was not a fumble. You would have rolled your 1d4, but that wouldn't have helped here either. So, yeah. So, you guys have this guy surrounded, this emerald statue, and he's looking at all of you. And, but no one seemed to have beaten him down yet. Let's see, let's go with Barney.
I'll try to attack it again with my short sword.
Okay.
So 1d20, right?
Yep. Nope. You stab him, you slice again. Your sword just seems so ineffective against his emerald body. Illarin, what do you got in store now?
I think I just want to... I'm kind of pissed. Can I just run at him with my short sword and see what I can do?
You can. You could cast Magic Missile if you wanted again. You could do that, or you could hit him with your staff.
I think I just want to hit him.
Okay.
He's pissing me off.
Do it.
The other one went down so easy compared to this one.
I
Yeah.
know. Is it just 1d20?
Well, that's because he crit on it. Nice.
There we go.
There we go.
Nice.
Now I think you got 1d6 damage. +1. You're actually kind of strong. You got a +1, I think. So you guys, Illirin comes screaming in the midst of you guys, hand over head, smashing down with her staff, and the statue turns and looks up at her, and he smashes, he explodes, pelting you all with emerald fragments, and then it's quiet again.
Ooh, I'm gonna pocket some of this emerald. Might as well, guys.
A bitch now.
You just read my mind.
So, if you guys spend a little time looking, let's get 2 people to roll 1d10. Keep track.
Oh shit, badness.
So,
Oh god,
3.
even worse.
I was having such a
Oh,
really
then there's
good time.
Whirlpool.
Well, okay. You know what I'll do?
We all rolled.
3, 5,
Oh, I
Five,
thought
Take the
15,
2 highest ones,
22.
Liz.
Good ones.
22. 5. Okay. You each find 5. Most of them are like tiny little fragments. They're little shards, lost in the grass and stuff. But you still find, each of you find 5 slivers that are big enough that could probably get you some coin. You could sell. So basically 5 precious gems each. And I'll keep track of that, and I'll add them to the character sheets for next
I
week.
was like, where am I supposed to put this at? I can't change things here. Woot for rich. Sounds like we did some good looting, boys. Time to go home.
Yeah, right.
Fuck the rest of it.
no, not yet.
I didn't say this. You realize it after it that the last one, that one right there, when she brings down and it hits him, as it explodes, you hear a voice from him. You hear it say, I gotta say this name right. Thestipides knows the word. You all kind of confirm with each other that that's what you heard. Thestipides knows the word.
Yeah, we know the word too. Bird.
Yeah,
Bird.
bird is the word. Okay, now it's quiet. Doesn't seem to be any more guards, and the great door it looks like it's carved from solid pewter, intricately engraved with elaborate designs, and it's set with a large keyhole. You guys try it, and it's locked, or at least it won't open.
I wanna pick the lock.
Hell yeah! All right, do your D20 and add your lock picking. My dog wants out.
Add my lock picking.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's on your character sheet. It's on the bottom right.
Pick lock.
Yep. Pick lock. It's a modifier. I think it's like +5
+3.
or +3 is fine. Look at you.
Damn, dirty 20. Cheers,
Nice.
buddy.
Cheers.
There's just opening a door.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that opens the door all right. You hear Barney goes up to it, and he just goes up to it and it's like he knows the door already. It's like Barney isn't the smartest guy in the world, but when it comes to doing this kind of shit, it's like he goes up and he just kind of feels the door a little bit. He's like, I know you. Puts his thieves' tools in. Click. With a big click, the door opens.
I'm not a swordsman, but I know how to pick a lock, guys.
We all have our usenesses.
So what it opens up to is this large hallway that's like 20 feet across and 50 feet down and ends at another large door. The walls are completely tiled with mosaics illustrating the what looks like the deeds of some great green-robed sorcerer. Are we going in?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
So you go in, and the mosaics are pretty crazy. It's like you see there's this emerald-looking wizard that's in one part he's battling dragons and demons, and the other parts he's reading spell books and inscribing scrolls and consulting with ancient mummies. It's like his whole life, gazing into crystal balls. All these tiles all along the walls depicting this, all the way down to the door. As you start walking in, we're doing so cautiously, I'm going to assume. Right?
Yes, I suppose the rogue is doing rogue things like checking for traps, yes.
Oh, the rogue should roll.
Sure, that rogue do rogue things.
Am I using me dark vision too?
Oh yeah, it's all lit. There's torches all on the walls. It's brightly lit for you to see the murals and everything. This is obviously someone lives here.
Vision?
Johan, make a roll if you want to do your thief stuff.
Yeah, let me check for traps.
There you go. I keep saying Johan, but it's like Yoyan, right?
No, Johan is more correct.
Johan? Okay, good. Cautiously going in, looking, you don't see any tiles out of place that would indicate there might be traps. You don't see anything as of yet as you start moving into the hallway. But just as you're done, you're like, okay, maybe you give a signal that you think everything's kind of safe, but a brisk breeze blows at you from the walls suddenly. And then you see a strange sight. It's almost like there's windows that opened, like breeze is coming. And you look really quick to see if there's holes. You don't see any holes in the walls. But then you see the strangest thing. Wall tiles begin to detach at various points and float through the air, carried on a rising wind. Soon there are eddies of tiles swirling around the room. They converge into a whirling cyclone at the end of the hall in front of you, suddenly forming into the shape of a man composed of thousands of shifting, moving tiles. And that's where we're going to leave it for tonight. Because
Jesus Christ, that's terrifying.
Yeah, that's
What a fucking cliffhanger.
Unknown.
Yo, guys, I think there's a trap.
I'm still gonna be here next week for this shit. I'm not gonna let my cleric die. This is my cleric now. No.
Awesome. Well, I thought of this idea coming off of what happened Saturday night and had a lot of fun. And I was like, man, if there's people who want to jump in, maybe I'll do this, and maybe I start even earlier doing this because this is fun, and if you guys want to. So next Tuesday we'll pick back up right in the beginning. I'll see if anybody will take I think I'm still going to talk a little bit about new games because I've got a whole season worth of games to talk about. But then we'll get to doing this, which is pretty cool. But right now, the Grouch Couch boys are going to start making some banging music, so we're going to go check them out.
I know, it's weird. It's like I'm rating my own channel. I don't know how to feel about that.
Really quick, I want to, speaking of Streamteam, as you guys may know, the Drunks and Dragons crew are going to be jumping into an apocalypse kind of setting next week for a couple episodes before their next season. Super excited about that. There will be a Pogli-esque video for that I'm going to be creating Friday. So Friday's still on and still going to be going down. If you guys want to come check out Pogli and Blurry's video fun time. The stuff on Terror and Treefell and Everstorm on the TT2KB channel are going to be on hiatus for a little bit still. And I'm not sure what Dining and Dragons didn't get back to me on what they're doing. So I'm not quite sure, but they're running stuff constantly. So and right now I just want to see what I'm doing next week. I have a schedule for what game I'm doing. I just gotta find where that was. Oh, here we go. So next week is this story game called Durance, and it's different. The mechanics are much different than you ever seen before. It's by Jason Morningstar, who's a really good game designer. But it's you play somebody who's been sent to a prison planet to, you committed a crime, just like Australia was a prison continent at one point. There was a prison planet. You're sent there. The name of the planet is Durance, and you're sent there. And there's things you're stuck in. You're either a guard or you're a prisoner. And different things happen that you have to deal with the different hierarchies of the guards and the prisoners. And that's a pretty cool game. And then we will continue playing Emerald Enchanter because that's a lot of fun.
Sounds like some Riddick stuff. I'm down.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Exciting.
Thank you so much, guys.
Rich.
Yep. Well, I'm gonna say Viva La Dungeon and stop the recording.